Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. And I apologise if you can hear all sorts of clattering and clamouring in the background. Rain is lashing against the skylight above my head. It might not come through on the tape, but if it does, I apologise. I'll try and talk over it. Winter has finally reared its ugly face over here in the UK, so I thought I'd cheer myself up, and of course you guys are the two as a part of the process, hopefully, with a custom 4v4 this afternoon. And incidentally, before we start though, a few people saying, can I cast some more alternative stuff? Well, yes, I'd love to. I'd love to bring you some more, or some Black Ops games, or some, what else? Phantom games. I'd love to do some Phantom games, but unfortunately people just aren't sending me any decent replays, or virtually no replays at all, actually, for those mods, but decent ones I still need. I'd love to do a Phantom game, by the way. If you do want to send me one of those, try and make sure that the action kicks off after, say, the first 15 minutes. Otherwise, it gets a little bit stale and boring. Say 5 minutes after Phantom assignment, that would be ideal. But that's the sort of thing I would look forward to, and I'd love to cast. But anyway, on to today's game. It's going to be a 4v4. It's very nearly an average Joe's. It's kind of average Joe's with a smattering of pros, this one, but the average is like 15-12 or something in ranking, so it's just over the cusp of average Joe's. But anyway, it's going to take place on hilly plateau, so let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So, hilly plateau, all pretty familiar with. Let's take a look at our teams. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top and call this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1 up here at the top in Breast Cancer Awareness Pink, it's Pascal P. He's going Seraphim, opening first land. To the south of him, his first teammate down here in Combat Green, it's BC's Ramak. He's going Cybrin, opening first land. To his right over here, down there, we've got Marco Box in Halib Orange. He's going UEF, opening first land. And last but definitely not least for Team 1, it's Koff, and he's going Aeon Mellow Yellow, opening first land. So I think that's fair to say we've got the full team, full racial representation for Team 1. That's right, yeah, one of each race, so looking nice and diverse there, all very pluralistic, all very exciting. Let's take a look at Team 2 down here at the bottom left in Ferrari Red. We've got SWE's Papa Join, or sorry, Pap Join. I think I did that last time I saw cast the game with him, calling him Papa John's. I had pizza on the mind. Zoc will know what I'm talking about. But Pap Join, anyway, he's going Cybrin, opening first air and then going second land. To his right over here in Cyanide Scion, and this is the guy we're going to be keeping an eye out for in this game, Armageddon, ranked 2097, one of the, well, still the top pros. He had a little sabbatical from the game a while back, but he seems to be playing a little bit more regularly now, which I'm very happy to see, because he's one of the all-time greats, and considerably raising the bar of this game, well above the next highest rated player, which I think at a glance is going to be BC's Ramak for Team 1. But anyway, there we go. He's going Cyanide Scion in his customary Seraphim, opening first land, and then next to him down here in Volvo Beige, and already well on the move up here to the middle, it's Furior. He's going UEF, opening first land and second land. And last but never least, we've got down here Misen, or Missen, I'm going to call him Misen, I think, and he's going Aeon Baby Blue, opening first air. Of course, not getting the penalty for engineers, because Aeon cool like that. But anyway, it looks like Team 1 are a little bit more anxious to secure the middle ground. We've got 4 ACUs on the move for Team 1, looking to secure the middle. Only 2 mexes directly in the middle, but of course you can deny the mechs further back if you establish a firebase. And also, don't forget, there's a ton of reclaim to be had. Immediately, we've got some point defense queued up. I thought that was actually Marco Box, but it's probably more likely to be Führer. No, it was Marco Box. He just queued up some reclaim first of all, and Ramak's going to come in and try and assist him in completing that. Führer lays off for a minute to try and get his hands on some reclaim. Vitally important that both teams, of course, get their share of the reclaim. Don't worry if you fill up your bar, it of course spills over into your teammates' coffers. A quick note from newbies out there that might not be aware of it. Very useful indeed. Pascal bearing down on Armageddon, the Seraphim on Seraphim action. Open up fire once or twice and then go back to their reclaim mission. But 2 units of point defense now in place for Team 1. And Marco Box out front, trying to force Führer back. Führer is going to stand his ground for the moment, He's 50% and climbing through that unit of PD. I think Marco realizes that he's quite happy to shed HP as long as he gets that point defense online, so he's going to back up, not waste his time, and take this opportunity to accrue some reclaim. Let's take a quick look at what's going on at the fringes of the map. Up here, a handful of Mantis skirting around from Papjoin, or Papjoin running into a Tham. A little bit of micro there from our red Cybrin. Saves that Mantis with 26 hit points. They can then go back to work on that engineer and the mechs over there. Not a great deal happening down here from Meissen, and it looks like Koff and Marco Box, we'll call him Marco I think for the purposes of this particular GOS, are going to take full advantage of that. Did seem like there was an engineer out there establishing a forward base, but that got taken apart, I'm guessing probably by labs. We've got 3 mech marines in here and also a snoop, so nice early pressure there from Team 1's UEF player. Good work, and this is looking like a nasty little base already in the middle. Just 5 minutes and 20 seconds gone, and all 4 ACUs in the middle with several units of static D already in place. 2 units of PD, and right next to them 2 units or 1.5 units of anti-air in place. Also with Ramak, a couple of land factories to add insult to injury. Armageddon isn't going to contend for the middle at the moment. He's happy to sit slightly further out west. Busy hoovering up all of the excess mass around here, and like I say, he is going to be the guy to watch. This is the sort of thing you need to be doing. There's no point pressuring a forward position when there's no chance of you overrunning it, and you're just going to be shedding hit points and leaving your ACU in a weak position. Instead, he focuses himself on claiming as much reclaim as he possibly can. Let's see how he's doing. 3,900 mass banked so far for him. And we'll see how that ranks up against Ramak. 4,800, so you can really see the difference that grabbing this central area makes for you and your team. Let's look at the next highest scored player for Team
Commander
2. 4,000 mass as well, so Furio, how am I saying that? Furio, that's it. He's not slacking off on the reclaim side of things either. He's making his team proud. Papjoin has moved forward with his ACU, but instead of helping contend for the middle, he's happy to extend further out. So let's take a look at how things are placed with the color coordination side of things. And it's, well, obviously the middle, the central part of the map in Team 1's hands, but a nice line being established up top here by Papjoin and Armageddon. Team 2 are looking weak, though, over on the right-hand side. Meissen needs to get out and do some work on there and establish. You can see his ACU is far forward, but hasn't managed to establish much. Another forward factory of his just got detonated up here by Koff's ACU and a handful of T1 units belonging to Marco. So he definitely needs to somehow work on getting something established. Furia is in the locale. He's busy grabbing himself some reclaim. Meissen needs to get some factories up and running and some assisting units. Absolutely vital. If they can't plug this gap, that's going to be a weak point for the rest of the game. And that's Vipers we've got up here for Ramak, already ranging the forward units there for Armageddon. Papjoin, a nasty group of Mantis, Moles and Medusas. A handful of things to say. Over at the western edge of the map, Pascal looks like he's got enough units to defend that route in. Might be a little bit weak on this rear pass, though, should Papjoin decide to move that way. He might possibly swing left, however, being as these 2 forward engineers and this mech's are about to get taken out. I think the best form of defense is attack, so he probably needs to think about getting some kind of run-by engaged. Papjoin moving forward with his spam is going to manage to cut this force in half. And indeed, that forward little band of Mantis, Moles and Medusas going to push on through that canyon. There's a T2 mechs that could be vulnerable, but it does look like Pascal might be working on closing that gap. 8 minutes 40 seconds gone in this one so far. Taking a look at how things stand on income, Ramak ahead, top of the pile, 58. Armageddon not far behind him on 56. We've got Koff and Papjoin lining up behind them, 48, and then down to the 38 mark. Those are the key players. So Team 1 seemingly getting the best of this in the early game. Otherwise, it's quite even lower down. Ramak leading the charge for his team, as you would expect, the highest rated player for Team 1. But Armageddon actually potentially catching up with him now. So we'll start to see the difference that 400 odd ranking points make, 450 ranking points make. Is after all what this game is all about. Eco and the Vipers stacking up in the middle for Ramak, causing problems for Team 2 now. See buzzkills being thrown together further back for Furia, anticipating a forward push. Very band of Thams and the odd Zooey in place for Armageddon. Some flak going up in the middle, and we've got a few Cerberus turrets, so this is like looking like a tough nut to crack up front for Team 2. Doesn't look like they're posturing with much either, so it doesn't seem to be the plan at the moment. How's Myson doing down here at the bottom? He has managed to get a couple of factories in play, and he's actually working on upgrading this one to T2, so that's going to be his headquarters. Potentially in a vulnerable position, but at least it will allow him to get some access to T2 units up front immediately. Furia rolling a few units in there. They're going to get slaughtered by the T2 point defense, and also these rhinos up front. Really do with throwing together the odd triad as well. As long as it took him to get those buzz kills together, it hasn't helped him. Those Vipers just move forward, and one or two volleys brush them aside. Eisen looking like he's under pressure once again. Definitely doesn't want to lose this position. Hopefully he's got access to some Spectre gunships, so some T2 air operational now for our Aeon player on Team 2. And some T2 flak rolling in for Koff to render them rather useless. They probably get popped out of the sky. A single solitary Obsidian rolls in. Take a few pop shots. Probably decides that was not a brilliant idea. Backs up. That's definitely the key weak area, I think, at the moment for Team 2. Need to be concerned with bolstering that area. We've got more run-bys potentially from Koff, this time with the odd T2 unit in tow. Attack missile launchers up front for Marco. TMD in place already for Armageddon. Not so much on this side of things, however. Attack missiles away. Looks like it's going straight over here to an undefended T2 mechs and potentially kill a few units as well. No, it doesn't. It does take 3 of the 4 mass storage with, but all of the units camped right outside somehow survived the splash. But so far, neither team looking like they're about to break through any lines. We have got some T3 engineers now on the field for Furia, so he's made the transition to T3 land. Ramak just running away with things eco-wise, 106 compared to Armageddon's 75. Has this concern you slightly if you're a fan of any of the guys on Team 2 and hoping for a win. A nice little push from Pat Join from 2 separate areas. Catches a whole band of Thams and Zooies. also opens up the map quite considerably up here in the top left. One single solitary mongoose getting pinged there, somehow breaking through T1's lines. Let's see where his movement orders are set, just over here. I don't think he's going to survive. Koff's units that are lying in wait for him. There he goes. Thought he was home free. It's the end of a 70s Vietnam movie right there. And a few Southerners in place up here on the hillock for Armageddon, using their range to harass the forward positions for Ramak. And this is quite a heavy-duty little push coming in now from Armageddon. He's softened up the territory a little bit with that mobile T3RT, and now he's rolling in with a couple of Othams and a bunch of T1, and all of those forward Cerberuses down. Shield gen down, and I'm quite surprised they've had all this time in the middle and they've rested on their laurels a little bit here. Team 1 not built up enough defense, and suddenly Armageddon breaks through with quite a mild number of units, really. There's nothing overwhelming in here. Down goes that T2 mechs at the back. Marco and Koff caught in the middle now. They have access to overcharge. They do. Them's suddenly disappearing. But they're going to struggle to hold this now. That should take the pressure off Meisen a little bit down here. Building tactical defense. There's quite the standoff brewing. A bit of a point defense war going on. Going to be really difficult for Marco to hold on to, though, if they end up losing the middle. And Koff down to 1,000 hit points, backing out as quickly as he can. Tham's in tow from Armageddon trying to chase him down, but there's not going to be enough units to do anything. Marco steps in with a couple of shots and an overcharge to quickly help dispatch those last few units and provide Koff with a safe route out of trouble. Look at that, Team 2 rolling into the center, and that drops Ramak down into third place in terms of eco. Armageddon on 131 takes the top spot, and Koff on 112 moves into second place. So nice work there from Armageddon. How do things look on the reclaim side of things? Armageddon sitting on 5,200 mass banked in reclaim, as opposed to the 15,700 banked for Ramak. So, might not be in first place anymore, but he's certainly grabbed an awful lot of mass from that. Has he got any left in the bank? Has pretty much all been spent. And the earlier work Pat Join had done up here at the top left hasn't really come to anything. He's been forced back. That top left mech still in Pascal P's control. But I am surprised Team 1 didn't manage to hold on to the middle. It just didn't develop in the center there. The only person building any static D of any real quantity was Ramak. And now Marco going to find himself caught between the slowly encroaching forces of Meisen down here, and also the odd T3 unit from Furior that's just rolling on through. Marco box up front, taking a few mercy shots from Meisen. Well, that might have been some more coming in. That's just swift wins. It's not going to be enough to finish him off, however. 18,000 hit points on that com when it's at full health. Provided him with a decent amount of leeway. Few mercies as well on the field for Koff. Look at this, Armageddon rolling straight through, getting in behind Pascal P's ACU. Not wanting to stay there, but we do have a megalith in play for Ramak. That's the first experimental that I've seen on the field. I'm not even sure anything is under construction that way for Team 2 yet. I think they're developed enough. We do have some chickens, some Ithotas under construction at the back here for Armageddon, but that's only just begun. I think that's reactionary upon seeing the emergence of that megalith, and that means that Ramak has got time here to reclaim some of his lost land. He needs to continue to press, however. And Meissen definitely out of the danger zone down here, the southeast. No more run-bys queuing up anytime soon from Koff. Marco's been pushed right back to their half of the map. We'll take a look at how things stand territory-wise. And you can see it's now looking more like 55 to 45 in favor of Team 2. However, things might be about to change. Ramak incoming with the megalith, facing off against a single solitary Ravager from Furia. That's not going to stand the test of time. Down it goes. And next could be this entire forward base. Still only one Ravager protecting it. Down it goes. Shields depleted. Surely that's going to be the end of that little forward position. Furia has backed right up. Besides, he doesn't want to tangle with a megalith. I don't blame him. Pat Join looking like he wanted to pass through there, but I think that route is well and truly blocked there. Some nice work from Pascal. Looking like he doesn't want to hammer his way through it. Handful of trebuchets up front for Pat Join, bombarding Pascal's forward position. Just two T2 shield gens protecting this forward position. But it does have its own T2 artillery installation in play. The ACU there got to favour that pink stronghold at the moment to outlast the Cybrans. Ramak, presumably down to some scouting, has turned around that crab. Must have seen the amount of T3 coming his way and the Athota, which, credit where credit's due, Armageddon got off very quickly indeed. And Koff actually streaking ahead. Mass game 156 in the lead, followed closely by Armageddon and Ramak, who are now once again pretty much tied, and Papjoin, who's actually in second place with 147. Everybody else very much left behind. Two key players for each team. Koff asking what's going on with the Mercies with all the AA. That's probably Meissen trying to get something done again against maybe potentially one of the ACUs. Ramak wants to use this offensively and quickly. Probably get some damage done down here. Chickens over here in the middle. Yes, he would walk him down, but if he could clear out Meissen's forward position down here, that would be a nice hole torn in defense. But speaking of holes torn in the defense, Papjoin under siege now over here in the west, as Pascal bursts through with a handful of Othams and a horde of T1. Last brick taken out. And another T2 P-Gen taken down as well, but he's got plenty of power to spare. It's not going to hurt him too much. That T2 Mex that was about to turn T3 will, however. It's a large investment of mass gone. There it goes. And that's also the Land Factory HQ. The T3 HQ has gone up in flames, so he's going to have to rebuild that somewhere else. He's got a bug under construction in the meantime. And neither team holding on to the middle now. It is now a no-go zone. Got well into the experimental phase. Neither team managed to build up a significant military presence, a base in the center to ward off any experimentals, so that's going to be defunct for the majority of the game now, unless there's some dramatic turn of events. Cuts down the map for one particular team. And two little halves over here in the east for Meissen. To walk into a forward platoon of Obsidians. Doesn't fancy the numbers though. A lot of interceptors on the field now for Pascal. And a decent amount of ASFs for Koff. But not as many, I think, as combined for Team 2. We've got a handful for Meissen, we've got a handful for Armageddon, and a handful for Papjoy. The question is, can they coordinate well enough? A bunch of strap bombers sitting at the back for Koff, potentially waiting for an opportunity to snipe. Whalers on the field as well for Papjoy. Gotta like the whaler. It's always goes on about restorers, but whalers and broadswords pretty epic in their own right, just to be said. But any advantage Ramak could glean from getting that first experimental on the field has now passed. I'd like to have seen him be a little bit more aggressive with it, perhaps. It's always tough though, you've got to factor in the psychological side of things, especially when you're facing off against a 2000 plus rated player who is now bearing down on him with a chicken and a whole bunch of Athanas. Global T3 shield gen for Seraphim. Ramak going to allow that plasma ball to land, but in comes Koff with a whole wave of strap bombers vaporizing that Ithota's health. Down it goes. The Othams mingle as they clash in the center, but with that megalith still with a huge chunk of HP, and then gets another one from a nice rank up in veterancy there. That's going to survive, and that's going to hold the position as well. So attack failed. Nice work there from Koff, recognizing the danger, bringing in those strap bombers when it was absolutely necessary. Doesn't want to throw away his air advantage here by tangling with odds over and above which he can't handle. Join getting in behind there for a moment, not managing to close out the win in the air. Pascal brings in his interceptors, now horribly obsolete at minute 29 here. And Marco Box under fire over in the east. He's got around 8,000 hit points left, but he doesn't want to back up too much. He hasn't got much on the field. There's a Fat Boy under construction, but he needs this ACU and its overcharge to defend this side of the map. Koff's not got a great deal on the ground either. There's a few harbs coming in down the eastern edge. Strap bomber inbound from Meissen. I can guess where that's headed. Surely going straight for Marco's ACU. He's not going to get the kill though. Perhaps a better run might have been in the center here. Kill all this build capacity, working on this fatty and slow up production a little bit. There was that Soul Ripper. There it is. Over 75% complete. And a second megalith inbound to assist the first. Another chicken bearing down on it. Armageddon doesn't like the odds. It's going to back up slightly. It's a real shootout between these two teams. Half an hour gone. All 8 players still in the game. Boy now online, albeit with just 5,000 of its 12,500 hit points intact. And 2 crabs, more than enough firepower to take the Athota down at range. There it goes. And this is looking a little bit dangerous for Team 2 now. Armageddon has lost 2 of his chickens up front. Ramak with his 2 experimentals still in play. Thankfully, there's a Soul Ripper on the field. Azar just started there from Myson. And I think air control is in the balance. One team has it, really. Koff with the largest single player controlled air force, but perhaps combined ASF's Team 2 working out to about the same. Crab up front getting blasted by Percival's. And the second one under fire from the Soul Ripper. In come the inties from Pascal, not doing much to it. Pat Join can finish off that Megabot. Might be able to salvage some of this. Down it goes, assisted with a strap bomber from Armageddon. Pascal P completes his RAS. But that forward Fat Boy making a real nuisance of itself there from Marco. Eisen pinging, needing assistance. I suspect he'll get it in a minute once Pat Join finishes off the second megalith. Ramak trying to funnel in some bangers, but it's too little too late. Down goes the Crab, and I don't think they're going to be able to catch up with the Soul Ripper as well before it gets to the Fat Boy. A lot of flak already in place from Marco, who's well aware of the threat. Soul Ripper switches up to the flak first of all, takes it out of commission, and then goes on to destroy the Fat Boy. So good work from Pat Join. Back and forth this game so far, like a seesaw, like a yo-yo. No one overriding team getting any advantage yet. Any ground that's gained is soon lost. There's a ping going down on Marco's comm. He is far forward. He's got a lot of flak, and more flak inbound from Ramak. But Pat Join looking like he's going to bear down on it. He's going to open up. It's only a T2 shield generator. And that soon collapses and then goes after the commander. 9,000 hit points on the comm, but it's dropping fast. In comes the flak from Ramak. It's not going to be enough. I don't think. He drops down well into the reds. The shield goes up and buys him a couple of seconds. It's going to be close. He backs up just to buy himself a few seconds, but there he goes. And the death nuke is the final nail in the coffin for the Soul Ripper. Shows you just how close he was to making it out of there, but alas, it wasn't enough. Team 1, the first team to drop a player at minute 34. It's Marco. Down he goes. And that's going to be quite the opportunity for Team 2, who, let's face it, need it. They've got Othams coming in on the left-hand side from Pascal, and a GC threatening Myson over in the east. Myson's got a handful of restorers working on it. It's not going to save that forward HQ. That was the T3 HQ for Myson that just bit the dust. Pat Join gives it some shadow cover for the restorers to finish their work, but need more than that to take this GC down before it gets in range of something else important. I think that next thing is going to be Furio's front line, bringing in some Percivals around the hillock. It's probably not the best idea, probably done with keeping them in here, but he wanted to get them in place to get as many shots on it as possible. Now he finds himself the wrong side of the ridge. Here comes the GC, only one Ravager in place. Armageddon comes in with a couple of strap bombers. GC down to around 32,000 hit points. A Fat Boy further back from Fury is going to help finish it off, but that front line is going to be damage beyond economical repair, I think it's fair to say. More strap bombers coming in for a second pass from Armageddon, and finally GC will succumb. So non-stop action here. 35 minutes gone. Player down for Team 1. Hole in the defenses of Team 2. It's all go here in SOCCOM world. Another crab under construction, this time for Team 2. Pap Join ventures into the land experimental phase. Furia starting work on a nuke launcher, switched it up to some T3 power, but bringing in a whole bunch of build capacity. Probably do a combination build between that and the nuke launcher. Pascal parking a couple of Othams there just around the top of this ridge. Going to finish off that T3 mechs. That's definitely mass Pap Join wouldn't want to lose. But Ramak and Koff, 237 and 217, streaking away with this one as well. Pascal, 211. Armageddon, top ecoing player. But you know, Furia is even higher, 163 to 156 for these two guys. But Team 2 definitely behind on the eco side of things. There's one saving grace, it's the amount of experimentals that have been dropping in the middle. You can see there's a couple there. One's being pinged as we speak. They need to get engineers there and fast to recover the lost ground. Yes, they've taken out a player, but Meissen sitting on just 89 mass per tick, so their advantage isn't significant in terms of mass income. They might even potentially be behind, but I can't be bothered to sit here and work that out because I didn't do well in my maths GCSEs. Anyway, some of you guys can do it. Probably one of you German guys. You guys are excellent at your maths without getting involved in stereotypes. That should be a compliment though, shouldn't it? I think so. Tsar, under construction. 55% odd complete and climbing. It's going to be a while before Meissen gets that online though. Crawling up with just 89 mass. Needs to get some engineers in here, pick up these other two mexes. There's a lot of reclaim still to be bagged on the field. Koff would love to run down here with a handful of these harbs and start causing trouble, but with these restorers kicking about, probably concerned he's not going to get much done. But Pascal really getting involved in the ASF game here. Tons of them on the field, and a lot for Ramak as well, who's managed to throw together 2 bugs in a very short space of time indeed. This is an interesting little stratagem switch here. They've gone hardcore air Team 1. Is Koff still producing? He's got a fair few as well. That's a lot of ASFs on the field. And I think it's fair to say, yes, that Pap Join's got a decent amount of ASFs, but overall he definitely didn't want to lead in with those. He just lost about 15 right there and then. Obviously thought they were much further ahead in the air game. They actually are. In fact, they are behind. And with that much air coverage, that's going to give these two Soul Rippers perfect protection as they go around and swat all of the vulnerable stuff at the extremities belonging to Team 2. There's a lot of flak in the middle, but it's not going to protect Pap Join's base. It's not going to protect the forward base out here for Meissen, or even the home base back here. That Tsar over 75% complete now. Another Soul Ripper on the way for Pap Join. Tsar though, Soul Ripper not going to be useful until they get back the initiative in the air game. And they're well aware of the problem. You can see that forward megalith from Pap Join laying flak eggs. That's the worst kind of egg for a megalith to lay, as you might be aware. Pointy edges hurts the crab's lady parts. But they're well aware of the issue. That's why he's going for that. I don't often see the eggs used that much. There's a lot of flak on the field for Fury. In fact, there's a lot of flak all round, but that's going to be easy on a map of this size for Team 1 to steer around as long as they're good with the scouting and their intel. Let's have a look at what they can actually see. Now you can see everything. Absolutely everything. Full intel coverage. That Tsar hasn't moved on much. Soul Ripper has moved on considerably. That might even finish first. I think it probably will. Colossus out front, two of them for Koff, and there's no way Furior is going to be allowed to hang on to that fat boy. Down goes the shields and down goes the fatty. There's a lot of Percivals in the mix though. It would eat through one GC, but two is too much. Percival's targeted first. Soon the Ravagers will follow, I'm sure. GCs make their way through and now start to square off against Pap Join's Crab that's just given birth. And what thanks does it get? Absolutely nothing. A wave of strats income from Koff. Get away a volley, but don't make a second pass because of all the horrendous amount of flak. One GC down. And it's going to be close who wins this between the GC and the Crab. I think it's going to be the GC. Down goes the Crab. In come the Restorers, though, from Meissen. I'm quite surprised to see the commitment waning slightly in the air game from Team 1. They've got the advantage, surely. They don't want to throw it away, though, I guess, with all of the flak that's sitting back in there. But they can buy the GC some time. Pap Join dives in for one single pass, but only nicks one of the Soul Rippers, and the second pass allows Pascal to get in behind him, and that's absolutely catastrophic for Pap Join's Air Force that's been torn a new one, handing even more of an advantage in the air to Team 1. They then move on to the Restorers. They were still working on that GC, or was that the next one? That was the next one. A fresh GC. The first one didn't make it out. And now it's Pap Join who finds his Soul Ripper under heavy, continuous purple fire. Not purple, sorry, pink fire. But Pap Join drags all of those ASFs out over the outrageous field of flak that Team 2 has amassed. It's so back and forth, this game. And as I predicted, it looks like Ramak finding a potential gap for those two Soul Rippers, going straight for that forward base of Meissen, who's trying to throw together as many Seekers as he can, but the build capacity isn't going to survive long enough to get anything done. There they go. Tsar online, but he's not going to be able to use it. Team 2's Air Force in tatters. Team 1 looking very strong in the air. And now Koff feels like he can move around the edges with all of these harbs now that the Restorer threat has diminished. Soul Ripper on just 10,600 hit points for Pap Join. Manages to find an opening to get on top of these Othams. Where on earth is Team 1's Air Force? Here they come. Pascal leading the charge. Surely going to knock it out of the sky in one pass. There it goes. Allowing the GC to continue his march from Koff. There is an Ithota waiting for him, however. Where is the Soul Ripper crew? They're down here and they're bearing down on Meissen's comm. Flak is pursuing, but it's just going to be too slow. It's never going to be able to catch up and kill him off before that ACU goes down. Meissen cornered in his base, shedding hit points like it's going out of fashion. 5,000 and falling down into the reds. Boom, baby. Meissen drops out of the game at 44-minute mark, evening it up in terms of player count. But of course, those two Soul Rippers still in play and available to inflict more damage on Team 2. They're going to head straight for the top left player, Pap Join. Going after the Team 3
Strategic launch detected.
And there's a nuke popping out of that one we saw on the build earlier from Furia. We're going to have to go to split screen to keep an eye on these two things. Where's it going? There's the nuke launcher icon going for the center of Ramak's base. I don't have time to look for nuke defense. Down goes the Tsar. We knew that wasn't going to get anything done anyway with the Air Force, but collapsing due to the lack of control from the death of Meissen. Nuke inbound. Soul Ripper still online at the back here for Ramak, but Ramak's base doesn't have any nuke defense and is about to take a kicking. Will it take Ramak's ACU with it in the blast? It's going to be close. No, it's not. It barely nicks the armor. Just 500 hit points clipped off the edge there. Perhaps a flying engineer flew out of the furnace and bashed him in the head. Ramak survives, but his base is gone. Having said that, so is Pap Joins. And Soul Ripper taking an inordinate amount of fire now. It's going after Armageddon's flak, and there is an ACU right here he could go for, and a whole bunch of build capacity. He can try and get more veterans here. There is surely the final rank there, 166 kills. It's allowed him more time. All four of the core T3 mexes out of commission. Meanwhile, an entire band of Harbingers marching in from the eastern edge of the map from Koth. Armageddon's Ithota with 9,000 or 10,000 hit points left. Defending like a boss. Outrageous turn of events. I think we can go back to single screen now. Most of the action centering around Team 2's base. And I gotta say, yes, their leading player, or one of their leading players' base has just been incinerated. But Team 2 losing a player and having one of their stronger players virtually eradicated as well. I think getting the worst of that exchange, just about. Of course, Armageddon, their most dangerous player, still alive and kicking. Koth inbound now with the Galactic Colossus. And a quick pause there to really shatter the mood. Our players with no regard for you guys. But there's far too many Ithotas and crabs waiting for him. Not going to get anything done with that. Down he goes. And I can't believe it. What an exchange of play between these two teams. Absolutely outrageous. And now surely there must be a lull. And I saw a flash over here, and it's experimental bomber that's been completed by Pascal, who has a domineering air force, it has to be said. Question is, what is he going to do with it and when? Armageddon pushing out once again with an Ithota right down the middle. Engineers inbound from Ramak trying to harvest that mass, but the experimental bomber coming in over the top looks like it's beelining straight for Armageddon, who's on an upgrade. That couldn't be worse timing. Bombs away, going straight for the nuke defense. Not even the commander, but Armageddon's ACU loses 50% of its hit points in one single pass. The experimental bomber doesn't get another pass. Armageddon calling for energy, but is not going to cancel his upgrade. I don't know what it is, but if that was me, I would be running for shield cover immediately, popping my G-string. Armageddon manlier than a can of Old Spice, and this could be his undo. We've got strap bombers incoming, and this is why I would be running for cover. He's so nearly done in this upgrade, but nice spread of T3 anti-air is going to save him. I can't believe it. 8,600 hit points left on that puppy, and he stands his ground. He doesn't cancel even after all of that. Unbelievable. What were they saying there in chat? Should have attacked together. Yeah, I kind of agree. That probably would have been a dead Armageddon. But Armageddon and Papjoin take this opportunity for another land incursion. They're falling behind. They should have had this flak closer. Furia should have been paying attention. They're going to need that coverage. Team 1 still very strong and very dangerous in the air. There's not a lot on the ground at the moment for Team 1 at the top. We do have a GC under shield coverage back here for Koff. And another GC further back for him as well. Koff flying the flag for base defense right now. Where is Ramak's ACU? It's back here, right next to Koff, in fact. That would be ideal if we could get their experimental somewhere near there. GC moving forward. Not going to stick it under the shield protection. It's only an unupgraded T2, so it wasn't going to afford them much anyway. Forward comes the second GC and opens up on the chicken. I think that first GC is going to buy the farm first. There it goes. And that actually is a nice little upgrade in veterancy on that chicken. Forward come the support commanders. Got an upgrade going on Ramak up there at the back. Forward come all of the SCUs and the GC. Chicken splits off going after the SCUs. Down goes the GC. Going to be interesting to see what they can do with this. I don't know if they've got enough hit points left on these experimentals. There's a whole power grid just begging to be popped. That crab just blapping support commanders as it goes. Unfortunately, the chicken gets too close to one of the power generators as it pops. But another chicken over here in the east, which I missed, coming up the edge of the map and now working on cost. Where is Ramak's comm gone? Ramak was doing a telemazer, go straight for Armageddon. Oh my god! But he's not going to get out of it. He's going to go down as well, I think. There he goes. So Ramak trading his life for Armageddon's, takes Armageddon out of the game, and that couldn't be better timing for Koff, as Armageddon's got one of his chickens right in the center of his base. And there goes all of Armageddon's stuff. There goes all of Ramak's stuff. There's still this fat boy in the middle belonging to Furia, which is pummeling and punishing the front lines. We've got a handful of Volthus out from Pascal, but they're not going to be able to do anything against the fat boy with all of these skyboxers lingering by it. In they come to give it a shot. But there they go. Outrageous game. Attack missile launchers bite the dust. Can't believe the timing on that telemazer. Unbelievable. Straight on top of Armageddon. Very nicely done indeed. Koff taking a little bit of fire, gets himself under shield coverage once again. Shield collapses. In comes another wave of Volthus from Pascal, desperate to deal with this fat boy, but just not getting anywhere near killing it off. Strap bomber gets a pass, gets a bomb off, takes a chunk of HP down. In comes a couple of restorers. They're not going to fare too much better. Another rank of veterancy restores a chunk of health to the fat boy. Another strap bomber comes in from Koff. Just skirts the edge of the flak. He'll be able to get a second pass in. "53 minutes gone in this one. Suddenly aware I didn't call this an epic. Not sure whether it's going to go over the 60-minute mark or not. And that chicken from Pascal, not before time, my friend. In he strolls, forces the fat boy to back up. But he's surely going to be able to cut through it without any trouble. There goes the shield. Oh, he doesn't want to stop there. There it goes. And suddenly, this game is a lot quieter. 2v2. outrageous amounts of carnage in this one so far. 54.5-minute game to date. Pascal, though, running away with things on the eco side of things, and if Team 2 can't find a way to deal with that, they're not going to last very long in this at all. Outrageous amount of Volthus coming down the eastern edge of the map. There's still so much flak wandering around the map for Team 2. Not a great deal, I suppose, back at base. Another nuke launcher under construction for Team 2. Obviously lost it probably at some point around the experimental bombing phase. Pascal's chicken marching on Pat Join's megalith. There's a fat boy in tow as well. It's going to get as close as humanly possible, so when it dies, that ion storm affects extra damage. Of course, managed to get all of his Volthus caught in as well. They're going to get slaughtered. Actually, looks like the megalith might make it out of there. Still, Pascal looking dangerous in the skies. Dangerous on every front with that eco. But now, actually, in fact, that may well have been momentary fluctuations from Reclaim. Now showing that Furia is knocking on the door of Pascal. He's down to 248. Still not entirely reliable. Score sheet in the top right. Handful of Titans from Furia getting slaughtered by the Othams. And once again, all is quiet. These two teams lacking at the moment the killing power to finish one another off. We do have a nuke launcher at the back for Pascal. You see all the build capacity surrounding it there. That's what he's funneling his time and energy and mass into. And that's over 75% done with that nuke, I think. Another GC on the way for Koff. He's been spitting those out pretty regularly. We do have a nuke launcher placed for Furio, but that is considerably further behind on the nuke. Only 30-odd% done. And I'm a little bit concerned because I can't see a nuke defense anywhere for Team 2 right now. That does concern me a little bit. That would certainly be an easy way to end this for Team 1, which wouldn't reflect the close, tenacious nature of this game. All of these guys been fighting as if their lives depended on it, literally. But very nice back and forth play over the course of this one. I know I keep saying it, but it's one of the better games I've seen for quite some time. Nuke launcher very nearly done on its nuke, and I still can't see any nuke defense anywhere for either of these two guys in the main base. Furious ACUs there in the middle. There is the nuke defense, only half done. That is concerning because the nuke is going to be ready first. The question is, do Team 1 know that? Having said that, there's a lot of strap bombers piling up around the place. It would be just a small matter for them to get in there and snipe it, a formality. And then this game should surely come to an end. Armageddon saying scout for nuke and anti-nuke. Well aware of what's the most likely play at this stage in the game. Once again, that incredible intuition you get about this game once you pass the several thousand game mark. He instinctively knows what to look for, when the majority of us only know because we're seeing the entirety of the map. But quite a few strap bombers now piling up at the back for Pascal. He's spitting them out incredibly regularly. Yes, we're on +2, but still, And that nuke about to complete any second. Where's the anti-nuke? How much left? It's not going up fast enough. Furia should be assisting, but he doesn't know. There's perhaps not enough scouting going on from Team 2. Papjoin, just reacting to what Armageddon said, has got a whole bunch of spy planes. One of them's going to break straight through the middle, and it will spot that nuke launcher at the back. Straight overhead, there it goes, but that nuke is ready to go, and I think that's probably going to be too late. As long as Team 1 don't hold on to the nuke and go for it. Pascal already asking Koff where he should go for. Not seeing any pings yet. There it is. Ping straight onto the anti-nuke. Koff saying not there.
Strategic launch detected.
Where's it going? It's going there. You might have thought Koff actually meant there, but it's not going to matter anyway because it's so very close. Furia on the move, immediately starts assisting it with his engineers, but the nuke is on the way and it's just not going to get done in time. That is going to connect Papjoin very close to the impact site. There's enough shielding, I think, to protect him, and that's surely damage that Team 2 can't recover from. Armageddon. Can't believe it. And the GG's already being preemptively thrown out in local chat from Papjoin. He knows it's a very remote chance of getting back into this one now. Bricks on the move nonetheless. That boy in tow and a whole bunch of Ravagers. Pascal's not going to break this forward position, I don't think. Down goes one of the Athotas. The second one will be next. Yes, there are a lot of Othams. Megalith further back. Still just ticking up HP. Gets a nice buffer there as a Rankin veterancy. Lands a whole ton of strap bombers, and we have indeed passed the 1 hour mark, so this does qualify for epicosity. Strap bombers inbound from Koff. Where's he going for? Going straight after the crab. He's going to finish it off. All of those bombers will die, but it was worth it, he feels, to knock out that defensive crab up front. Papjoin still operating off a pretty hefty eco, but Furia ahead of Koff. Is he having power trouble? No, he's not. So Koff short stacking on eco. Team 2 actually still have a decent eco and are ahead in mass income, which is quite surprising. But the air advantage is pretty significant, I think. It's a lot of ASFs landed. Papjoin has a decent air force as well. But now these bases have thinned out. The amount of flak has been dropped down. The amount of SAMs diminished. It's just a matter of time before they go for the snipe. In come the strap bombers. Look like they're beelining straight for Papjoin's commander. And there he's going to go. Nice snipe from Pascal, and that really will be game. Soul Ripper was completed. He's not going to be able to do anything with it. Armageddon still screwing about that Mazor from Ramak. A sensational bit of play. Might well have just saved the game, that tele-snipe from Ramak, taking those chickens out of play. Little bit of a flat ending to such an amazing game, but to be honest, you expect that after such a high amount of action for so long. You can't physically keep it up, and once the amount of players has been diminished on a map this size, just the amount of weapons just naturally drops, and of course the amount of conflict will drop by association. In comes Azar from Koff. Gonna go straight after Furia's comm, I expect. Furia with a handful of ASFs. Not going to be able to get anything done. Pascal comes in to assist. Not going to worry about the experimentals up front because this is going to end it in favor of Team 1. Momentary shield saves him for just a second. Momentary shield recharge, but it's not enough. That Tsar powers through and takes the win for Team 1 in 1 hour, 6 minutes and 45 seconds. What a game. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.